Hey, Sean here from Humble and Free, and welcome to my performance review of the F-Stop Lotus backpack. F-Stop makes a wide array of backpacks specifically designed for and tailored to photographers or anybody who's carrying around a lot of gear with them. This specific backpack is 32 liters and weighs in at about 3.3 pounds. It's the smallest of F-Stop's mountain series. This backpack with the internal camera organizer and the additional straps is selling on Amazon for about $330. So, why did I buy this bag? About a year ago, we were planning our trip to Africa. I needed a bag that I could use to carry all my camera gear, keep it safe and organized. Second, I needed a bag that could also function as a day pack because we were planning to climb Mount Kilimanjaro. And lastly, I needed a bag that I could wear on my chest, forward facing. Mainly because I was carrying an 80-liter bag on my back and rolling a 45-liter behind me. With all that considered, I knew I wanted something that was around 30 liters. After a lot of searching and researching online, I decided this bag was the best fit. Now, I've had this bag for about a year and used it a lot. I've taken it to the summit of Mount Elbert, which is the tallest of the 14ers in Colorado. It was my bag I carried for 8 days on our trek up to the summit of Mount Kilimanjaro, and I carried it pretty much every day for 6 months throughout our entire trip through Africa. Okay, so as you can see, this bag is already packed full, and I've even got my tripod strapped on the side. I wanted to give you an example of just how much stuff you can actually fit in this bag. So, let's get to it. So as you can see, this bag does have potential to carry a lot of stuff, more than just your camera gear alone. I hope this helps to show you how much you can actually squeeze into this bag and help you to kind of visualize your stuff in this bag. Alright, now let's talk about all the features that this bag has. First and foremost, the design of this bag makes it rather unique. Instead of being a bag that you solely access from the top, or having some small pockets on the front, or maybe even a side access pocket, primary point of access of this bag is this back flap. Now, as far as camera gear goes, and as far as overall design of the bag, it's quite a clever concept. Typical bags, when you access them or you set them down off your back, the first thing you do is you put it down so the straps and the back side of the bag is facing the ground. And then you get all your stuff in the bag from that position. However, when you go then to pick up the bag and put it back on your back, you then transfer any of the dirt or mud or anything that was on the ground back on your back when you go to put it on your shoulder, which isn't really that great of a design. So, what F-Stop does that is really genius is they have this back access hatch. So when you open this up, you fold this flap back, and then you open the ICU flap, you have direct access and great visibility of all your camera gear and equipment. In addition, you also have access to the top portion of the bag, which is also accessible from the top opening. So, now that we've talked about the design of this bag, let's talk about the material of this bag. The material of this bag is awesome. It's some sort of coated nylon that gives it a bit of a water repellent aspect to it. In addition to the fabric itself and the material being water repellent, any of the zippers exposed to the elements or be susceptible to getting water in either have a nice rubberized coating over the zipper or has a flap that covers the zipper opening to help prevent any water from getting in. The zippers themselves are excellent. They're super heavy duty. There's two sizes. There's these smaller zippers on the top and on the sides, and then the main zippers are a bit larger and very heavy duty. They have nice rings at the top so that you'd be able to slide through a cable lock and lock your bag. Now, both of the main access zippers are the same size, so you can use a cable lock and secure and lock all your stuff in the bag. Inside this bag, there's a nice, strong, and rigid aluminum frame. The frame gives it very good structure and helps to support the bag while you're carrying it. On the front of the bag, we have points where you can secure and mount trekking poles to. So you slide the bottom of your trekking pole into here, and then you have these nice stretchable elastic straps where you can tighten down and hold the trekking poles into place. In addition to that, there are these side buckling and tightening straps that you can put anything from a tripod to, or recently I actually put snowshoes on either side. And you have these buckling straps on both sides of the bag. If these side straps aren't enough for you and you need to carry more gear with you, F-Stop offers these Gatekeeper Straps, which you have to buy as an additional accessory, which can be mounted at various points on the bag. For instance, there's a connection point on the top and bottom on either side of the bag, so the straps can mount this way, or on the sides. There's also spots where you can put it on the bottom, so that way you can carry your tent or a sleeping bag or something like that on your bag as well and not have to worry about trying to stuff it inside your bag. On the front of the bag, there's this nice pouch which I typically put my rain jacket into. And the reason I use it for a rain jacket is because on the bottom there's a nice little opening for any water or moisture to escape from. The sides of the bag also have pockets. These pockets are nice and tall and run the full length of the bag. These pockets also have a nice bit of Velcro on the sides, which you can open and extend the volume of these side pockets, giving you a little bit of extra space to store more stuff. And like I said, these pockets are on both sides of the bag. This bag also has a top carry handle, which is nice for moving at short distances when you're in an airport or at a bus station or something along those lines. It also has this nice little Velcro loop so that you could strap the top carry handle down and stow it out of the way. On the bottom of the bag, there's another zipper pouch here, which I typically put my rain cover in. Like I said, the bag may be water repellent, but it's definitely not waterproof, so you'll definitely want a rain cover for your bag. And this bottom pocket is perfect for that. It's also made of a little bit different material, and it's a bit thicker, so that way if you're setting your bag down on like rocks or any rough surfaces, you're not going to poke through or you're not going to penetrate your bag. The back of the bag itself has a nice thick, I would say almost half-inch thick padding between your back and anything that's inside. This padding offers a bit of nice support, and there are also some nice ridges that are integrated into this padding that will allow airflow along your back so that if you're carrying it for a long amount of time, it helps with the heat and a little bit of the sweating that typically happens from carrying a backpack. As far as carrying this backpack goes, you have your two shoulder straps, you've got your sternum, a buckling sternum strap, as well as a buckling waist belt. Now on these straps, you have your load lifter straps. Once the bag is on your back, you can pull these and it will bring the top of the bag closer to your back and your shoulders, helping to transfer some of the load to the waist belt. And I'll show you how that works in a minute. On the straps themselves, you have these nice little mesh pockets, which I actually just learned is for those energy goo packets that you can slide in here so you have them readily accessible. I actually typically use them for my cable locks. I would connect the cable lock to there and just flip it on the inside, and that actually worked pretty well for me. In addition, you've also got some extra loops and rings that you can connect accessories to. The buckle on the sternum strap also has a whistle. The buckling waist belt has nice loops that you can mount or hang things from, and also has very small little stretchable mesh pockets which you could put something like some trash you pick up or chapstick. So now let's put this bag on and I'll show you how these load lifters work. So first you want to get your waist belt buckled into your sternum strap. And then you grab these tabs right here and just pull until you feel it nice and tight against your back, which helps so the bag isn't leaning too far back and pulls it upright against your back and allows the weight to sit better on your hips. On the top of this bag is a nice quick access zipper pouch. Now it's just a kind of medium-sized pouch that is specifically on the outside of the bag that doesn't give you access onto the inside. So here I typically would put, like I showed you, my sunglasses and any other quick access things that you want to get into. There's a nice little Velcro organizer pouch in here, and also a nice keychain ring that you can use. I actually made and created a little identification tag and hung it from that. So now let's look on the top inside of this bag. There's the top flap of the inside. This flap has an additional mesh pocket, which I use to store more of my important or valuable items such as my passport and my wallet. Comes in handy because it's on the inside of the bag and it's also quick, easy access, and you can see everything that's in it. Now this is the inside of the bag. As you can see, I still have my laptop in here, so let me pull this guy out and I'll show you how the water or hydration bladder goes in. This is just the general Camelback 3-liter bladder. This bladder, like your laptop, slides into the front pouch of the bag. There's a nice little bit of Velcro right here that you use to connect your bladder to so it can hang from this Velcro, like so. Now, once you've got that connected, you take your hose, you can turn the bag sideways so you can see. You pass your hose through the opening here, zip your bag up, connect your hose to the strap, and now you're good to go, and it's out of your way. Now, let's talk a little bit about this ICU. The ICU itself is a bag all on its own, and if you ever needed to, you're able to carry all your gear separately from the bag and still have everything safe and protected in this nice padded case. The zipper pulls on these guys are also just as heavy duty, so that you could easily put the exact same style cable lock through these zippers and lock this bag completely independently. There's also these nice rings that you can use to mount additional bags or gear to this guy if you needed to. As you can see, this is that slope medium ICU that I mentioned. Bottom here is a little bit taller than the top is. You might be able to see it a little bit better that way. This shape gives it a little bit better versatility if you're also carrying something like your laptop or your hydration bladder in your bag. Inside this ICU, you can actually store quite a bit of gear. What's really, really nice is that these dividers are Velcro and can be removed or adjusted to fit any orientation or any type of gear that you may be carrying or need to carry in this bag. They're nice and padded, which keeps everything from any impact or preventing any shock or damage to your gear. And overall, it's a nice, sturdy bag for your stuff. In addition, this top flap also has a pad that you can pull out, making it a little slimmer profile. However, I'm not sure why or when you would ever need to do that. I kind of like keeping this in, and it gives it a little bit extra padding and protection from anything, and it also is the spot that sits against your back, so it provides a little bit extra padding between your camera gear, your back, and the back pad of this backpack. Since I have this ICU out, I want to kind of set it aside and show you the inside of the bag without the ICU in it. So as you can see, it's a pretty big open space. On the front side, you might be able to see the pouch a little bit better that you slide your water bladder into, and or laptop for that matter. You can kind of clearly see the aluminum frame of the bag now, here and here. That gives it its strength and support. And these are the connection points that this Velcro attaches to when you're securing your ICU into the bag. Now, to fit the ICU back into the bag, you simply put it in from the top, slide it all the way down to the bottom. Make sure it's all the way down there. Open up your back hatch and adjust your Velcro straps to the rings on the inside of the bag. Now we're good to go. In addition to the top and interior pouch, there's one extra pouch that's in the bag, and it's this one here at the top. It's a smaller pouch, but I put things like cleaning cloths and the remote shutter control for my camera in here. There are also these loops that you could use to, I would say, store small attachments to your bag, because if you put too many bulky things on these straps and you go to close it, you're going to feel that pushing against your back when you carry the bag. Alright, so now that you've seen how this bag can be packed up and how much it can carry, you've seen the features of this bag, now let's get on to the performance review. First off, the overall durability and quality of this bag is excellent. The material is so heavy duty, and I barely see any signs of wear, scuffs, there's no holes, there's no punctures, there's no cuts, there's no rips, no problems in the material itself. The zippers are super strong and durable. I've never had a problem with the zipper jamming or any breaking spindles off of the zippers itself. The metal zipper pulls are super strong and durable. None have broken or anything like that. The elastic on the bag has held up excellently. There's no overstretching of the elastic. All of the plastic components, like the buckles, here, the sternum buckle, the waist buckle, all of those have held up excellently. There's not been any breaks or cracks or anything. I haven't had to mend or repair these things with like duct tape or electric tape, as you see a lot of people do. In general, this bag has just held up excellently, and I couldn't be happier with the quality of it. The material itself, being somewhat water repellent, is also a really great feature. There's sometimes where you just kind of get into a small shower and you don't want to stop, take your bag off, put your rain guard on the bag. And so it being a little bit water repellent, just as is, has been an extraordinary feature. And I've never had a problem with water intrusion in the bag in small amounts of rainfall. Heavy downpours, I've always stopped and put the rain guard on this bag, as I would recommend everybody. The material also makes this bag really easy to keep clean and keep looking good. After my most recent excursion with this bag up in Colorado, the bag came back filthy. I had snowshoes mounted on the side of here, and there's mud and all sorts of like dirt caked on it, and the bag looked more brown than it did black when I got home. All I did was a little bit of dish soap, hot water, and a rag, and the bag cleaned up. I mean, pretty close to good as new, honestly. Speaking about the snowshoes as well, those snowshoes have spikes on them, right? Never did I see any signs or have any issues with this nylon on the side straps wearing as a result of the sharp points or the sharp edges on those snowshoes. Really strong, durable material and holds up really well. Another feature that I really love about this bag that I spoke about earlier is this front pocket drain hole. There's been several instances where I put a rain jacket in here that was wet, and I had noticed that all the water had collected towards the bottom and it was coming straight out this hole, which I would assume that's what it's intended for, and was a very smart design choice on F-Stop's part. Even the material on the inside of this bag has what feels like a somewhat impermeable barrier, so you don't have to worry about water soaking through into your stuff, which is super nice. These trekking pole mounts are excellent. I never had a problem with holding the trekking poles and holding them in place or them falling out or anything like that. These things tighten down really nice, hold everything nice and snug. I actually used an X when I put my trekking poles in here because I felt like it looked kind of cool and helped to give a little bit more pressure to hold them on, but I mean, you could easily put them just vertically as well too. The side pockets on this bag are nice. I have to say they are nice, but this Velcro here is a little weird, to be honest. It's nice that they give you the option to expand for a little additional carrying volume, but it would have been nice if instead of Velcro, there was something like a zipper, or maybe even nothing at all. Make it be a little puffy and allow these buckles to hold it down in place. The reason that this is one critique that I have on the bag is that, as you can even see, there's a little bit of dirt stuck in this Velcro right now, and I even did a good job of trying to clean it out. But this thing grabs and attaches to any debris, any grasses, any twigs, or anything like that. And it will also grab my wife's sweaters when she's wearing them. And that's a big no-no because I've already pulled and caused pulls on some of her sweaters, and that was not a good thing. As far as carrying the bag goes, these straps themselves are not that thick. They don't necessarily provide all that much padding for your shoulders. So when you've got 14-hour days where you've got this bag on your back, you can start to feel it after a while. And there have been many instances where I was kind of wishing that these straps had a bit more padding on them. These load lifters that I mentioned are nice, however, they don't really function as perfectly as intended, primarily because this waist belt won't tighten enough for me. I'm kind of a slim guy. I'm about 5'11", 150 pounds, and there's about an inch to 3 inches of space between the tightest amount that I can get this waist belt and my body. Therefore, it doesn't really work as intended, for me at least. For some other people, it might work totally fine. But the general idea for carrying this bag and kind of make it more comfortable is to get this thing as tight as possible, pull these straps as tight as you can to get the bag against you, and allow that load to sit on your hips rather than on your back, neck, and shoulders. Another critique on these straps is there isn't really any big pockets on this waist belt. They do provide this small little mesh pouch, but it's really not much to put anything into. I really wish there was some sort of like zipper pouch that you could put something a little bit larger into, because I have put stuff in these pouches and then ended up losing it as I was walking or hiking, which was kind of a disappointment, and therefore I don't really end up using these things for anything. And I mean, just overall, you can kind of see how thick these straps are. They really don't provide that much padding on your shoulders. And the same goes for these waist belts as well. The aluminum internal frame is great. Having it is a world of difference, and if you've ever used a bag without an internal frame and one with, then you know how much these things help. It just gives it a nice amount of structure, and I haven't had any instance where it either bent or broke or anything along those lines. It holds up really well, and it gives you a nice rigid bag that actually helps to distribute the weight within the bag a little bit better than if it wasn't in there at all. So I have to say that I do really appreciate the fact that they put that aluminum frame in this bag. In addition to the frame, this back padding is great. Never once have I ever felt anything from the bag poking me in the back. It's nice and thick. Like I said, it feels like it could be about a ½ inch of foam padding, and it sits nice and comfortably on your back. These ridges do help a little bit. They don't necessarily stop your back from sweating, but they do provide a little bit of space for air to flow when you're carrying the bag. Also, you never feel these zippers. These things never really bug you. They never bothered me. You don't even really know they're there when you're carrying the bag. Another critique that I do have about this bag is the way that you carry the laptop and or the hydration bladder. As I showed you, you carry your hydration bladder and your laptop in the front of the bag. Typically, in most bags, your laptop and or hydration bladder sits right against your back. And the reason it sits that way is so that the weight of the bladder and the backpack sits as close to your back as possible. In this bag, the laptop or bladder sits to the front of the bag. I'm going to take this laptop out to kind of emphasize this a little bit. So when you do that, all of the weight for the bag then is pulling this way, which puts a lot of additional load on your neck and shoulders carrying the bag. So it gives it a little bit of an off-balance feel, and that paired with the fact that you can't tighten the waist, or at least I can't tighten the waist belt, makes this bag a little uncomfortable over a long duration of time. But because of the rear access and the way that this bag is designed, there really isn't any way around that. I don't think it's something that they honestly can fix and or address, but it is something that you should be aware of and at least conscious of when you're making a decision on whether to buy this bag or not. If this waist belt were to tighten as tight as I could get it and make it real nice and snug on my hips, I probably wouldn't necessarily feel the way the load isn't distributed properly. But because I can't adjust these things just right, it does tend to put quite a bit more strain on the front parts of my shoulders and across the back of my neck as well. The ICU itself, inside the bag, is awesome. This thing is so great at keeping all your gear safe, protected, and organized. I love the fact that you can adjust all of these to fit or suit whatever your need may be, and it really gives you a lot of versatility from carrying your DSLRs, or you can make it work for your drones, GoPros, whatever you're going to carry, you can adjust the inside of this bag to suit and fit your need. So this thing is excellent. And I also love the fact that it zips separately and is its own bag. And essentially, like I showed you, you can lock this all by itself, which is a really, really nice feature. The last aspect of this bag that I want to touch on that I absolutely love are these Gatekeeper straps. Now with that being said, in the time I've had this bag and used it, I haven't had to use these straps once. However, I love the fact that I have the option to use them if I'm carrying more gear than usual. These connection points are located throughout the bag. You can go here to here, you can go across this way. And like I said before, you can even do across the bottom if you're carrying your tent with you or something like that. The design and thought of including these in this bag was just a really, really, really great feature that they included. Overall, this bag has been really great for all the reasons that I needed it. Sure, there are some comfort and ergonomic critiques that I do have for it, but overall, the performance, quality, and durability of this bag is supreme. Because of that, it will likely not be the last F-Stop bag that I own. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions or feedback, please leave them in the comments below. I'm more than happy to help in any way that I can. If you found this video helpful, please do give it a like and subscribe to our channel. Until next time, stay humble and be free.